Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of City Skylines. We're here in our very wealthy T-Town city, although it's a town. And yeah, our income has been rocketing up, like really high. I've had it as high as 90,000 at some point, but it tends to go really high and then come back down into the negative and then go high again. But you can see we've amassed tons of money and I've been able to update the game and fix the terrain modifying tool right here. I think you can still sort of see a little bit of the remainder of the land under the water there that looks odd, but I pushed it back so that it goes right up against these walls over here. I've sort of let it come across a little bit. I think that looks good, although maybe it stretches on too far. And there you go, like that's it. We did it. Look, water right up against the bank here, the university behind it. It all looks amazing. You might have spotted something just back there in the background, but I want to show you that from a different angle because we are going to go and do something that I am surprised I haven't thought of doing yet. Some of you are probably already clocking on to what I'm going to do. We're going to click on this. Where are you going to? The Fine Financial Services. Hopefully that's where we want to go as well. We're going to do some first-person camera mode. Why have I not thought of this before? This is so much fun. We had a lot of fun, like a really good time doing this in our first series where we'd drive around in first-person view. So hopefully this truck isn't going to spoil our view too much, because over on the left hand side, there it is, just over there. Can you see it? It should come into focus real soon. Actually it's, well no, yes it is that building, but here on the side we've got train tracks and a tunnel that now goes under the ground because we built a train station on top of it. So this thing's going to turn off to the right, isn't it? I've redone the intersection or the junction, whatever you want to call it, over here a little bit, so it looks a lot cooler, especially in first person mode. And yeah, we're going all the way around. Bit of a tight turn right into this part of the city. Oh my god, it looks so cool. So if we get to go straight over up here on our right hand side, no, we won't get to see it. Okay, so I'm going to pop out of there because the road isn't actually near to it. We built a train station. Check it out. It looks ever so cool. And a train is arriving. That's absolutely brilliant. And one is leaving as well. One's arriving again on that side. I've seen crowds upon crowds of people heading over here to use this thing, but it always has like a low number here, like 5. Are you serious? Let's click on this thing. 2 out of 240. Bizarre. Yeah, I made public transport across the entire city free, and since then it seems like they're using it even less. But I have seen, as I said, crowds of people heading over here. Also got some taxi stands as well to pick people up. No taxis queuing there, one at either side. And I've connected up quite a few train stations and added some more as well. So the idea here was to put this in the middle of the city over here, but because this is all raised up over on this side, meant I couldn't take it straight down into a tunnel and go like under the roads, which is unfortunate. Also, this is raised at like 9 meters high, which is going to work with the fine... Oh look, there you go, massive crowd leaving the train station. Yeah, it works fine with the fine road heights mod, but I don't have that working at the moment. And the way that I fixed this over here might actually fix that as well. So we might get it back. Oh, look at that. Crowds of people probably going to the university, aren't they? I love that, seeing them walk across our curvy bridge. Anyway, this is, yeah, going up to 12 meters and then it goes down underground. So this was the spot to put it because we could, you know, put this road here underground and give ourselves a little bit more space. So this track sort of connects up over here in a terrible way. Like, that's just a mess, I know. Connects over here in a bit of a mess as well. Basically, it can go that direction or around here and the opposite direction. But we've also connected it up in the city as well, as we have yet another station over here that looks amazing. I love this one right here because I added some details around it. You can see it more so on this side over here. Can I go into first... I am in first person mode because I pressed the right button. Okay, it doesn't look quite as good from there. Let's go up a little bit. I need to change like the mouse sensitivity here. This is ridiculous. Yes, I've added in some details because I've downloaded props and you can just sort of plop these down on the ground. So we've got like a few crates there and some oil barrels and planks of wood on the ground. It looks ever so good, and these few details really do make a big difference. As well as that, we've also got like some hedges across the back and some trees, which didn't really look that great. I think you need to see more of this in the area rather than this one isolated spot. So more beautification of the city will happen in the future. That is a fancy looking shop right there. I like the way that's put together. Anyway, this is... Wait, where'd it go? Here it is. this is one of those ones that's a dead-end station. So under here it goes all the way across to somewhere around here. There is a little bit of space behind these buildings. Very glad that I left that space there because it became convenient to connect this. So you can go in either direction. And then there's the station right here, which has been used a lot more. There you go, 354. So I guess maybe people aren't really commuting between our two different cities, but they're making use of that one. What's this one over here doing? 120. So I don't really know how to analyse the traffic further, you know, but it's going well. And looks like we've got a bit of a traffic jam over here going on. Yeah, as the city sort of fluctuates in size, I mean, it's been growing a lot lately. Traffic pops up in places, but overall it's doing good, and we're making a boatload of money, which is fine. So, yeah, I don't know what it was I was going to do next after figuring out all of this. Now it's daytime, we can actually see what's wrong with this bit here. Let's do a little bit of terraforming and try to correct that. So 65 was the height that I was working at. Let's bring it down to 60. Let's make our brush a tiny bit bigger. And did that lower it or raise it up? That sort of... I'm not sure what that did really. Sort of somewhere in between perhaps? I don't know if this is really going to make a difference. The view's sort of changed now, hasn't it? I'll have to play around with that a bit. So yeah, that's sort of what I've been up to, and I can't remember what exactly it was I had planned next. So working on this area a bit more, I don't know how I feel about this right here. You see, advertising, you know, it's something you see. It kind of works here because there's like a junction that they're coming up to. But I think advertising is ugly, and I don't want an ugly city. Oh, these look interesting. Can have an octopus. Wow, some of these props. I don't know what that is, but it's rotating. Oh, it's also up here on top of this building. What are the chances of that, eh? Huh. Yeah, so I'm just playing around with the props here, and we've got a little bit of space here that we're going to tidy up. But what I've done is just extended this all the way down to the edge, and then spent quite a lot of time rebuilding this road until we got the exact right curve that you could just have these overlap with one another a little bit. For example, can you see how the trees are on the edge? There's actually 2 trees there, and I think that might be the same over here as well. Like, that one's got a tree doubling up there. So it just sort of curves off the edge, and then our cliff lines up with the edge of that, and I think that's acceptable, but maybe what will make it look good is, I know what prop to use, some fences, which I think is in this one. Now it'd be nice if I could find something to change the colours of floor, like just have some concrete up in this area, because then we could have, let's see, these fences sort of railing off the edge here, and I wonder how like flexible it is with letting us place this stuff. Oh right, so we could even have it go down the side a little bit, which I think looks real good. Yeah, might not look quite as good as you get closer in, but that looks like a good start. So this area can then all be fenced off, but a little bit of concrete here and some other bits and bobs would be nice. But I'll play around with that a little bit. Yeah, that's looking good. Just rotating them a touch as I go. Oh, those details add so much though. And now I've messed it up. Let's put you back there. Cool. So further down this road as well, I've also put in some parking spots, and they all sort of come covered in snow, which looks really silly. But the further down you go, you start to see the parking spots a little bit more. And with some trees either side, they just kind of look cool. Now, you may notice that there is... oh no, that's actually added traffic lights, which is not what I wanted it to do. If I reverse the direction of that, I'm going to remove traffic lights here, aren't I? Yes, because the traffic just splits up in either direction. Okay, so we'll have that as a valid road then, to come back round to here. So this is now going to have traffic lights because of this, which, although it's not necessary, if we swap it at that end, people can turn this way, but they can't really go anywhere. You see, the way I had it before is you couldn't turn in here, and you couldn't turn in there. Whereas now you can turn in at either end, it just leads you to nowhere. So hopefully people will be smart and know not to use that. And let's put that, like, little, oh dear, little junction, like, right here in the middle. Yeah, so it's kind of like a pointless road, but it helps with this bit right here. And it doesn't look too bad. What I'll probably do, actually, or maybe I'll leave it like this. I don't think this will be a problem, but I could just have it go back round to there. There's hardly any traffic. You know, traffic lights don't matter too much. And as for what we're going to do on the other side, well, since this kind of breaks away here, I think we'll try and find a way to reinforce that without messing around with the roads too much. So these can go. So I think the plan for today's episode would be to work on this area in general. At the moment, another little death crisis, which is just what happens. It happens in cycles in this game. And I'm sort of looking at the traffic flow right here, and I think I've got an idea that's going to make this work. So the problem we have here at the moment is that we have traffic lights. If we are to reverse the direction of these roads, can I right click to do that without upgrading the road type? I don't want to do it on one that's going to break it. Let's pick something similar. So right click it. Okay, it just changes direction. Excellent. So if we were to change the direction of this one as well, then all traffic would go straight through here because it can just turn off to the side. So no traffic lights yet. Then what I'm thinking is, what if we continue to make the traffic here go up, which I can't do because I need to select the right road type. I'm not sure what we're using here, but I will of course make sure it's the same type. And that apparently is the wrong type. Brilliant. For now we'll use that then. Okay, so yeah, like that. So we push all our traffic up and through, and then it comes around and down here. So this will have to be a downway street. So this can be up all the way up to the top, where I've added in more road over here. So we'll have like a loop. This will go off to the side and come back down. So you've got two roads leading up. One of them has a bit more bandwidth, and then this becomes a turn point to come back down again, and that goes up. So just trying to reduce the traffic lights and smarten the traffic. I'll see how that'll work, and what we might do is make sections of this road here a one-way road as well. My original idea though was to make it one way in this direction going across, and then having another junction over here leading up to that point, but then I pictured probably most of the traffic is going to split off and go up there, but we could try that and see what happens. Anyway, that's sort of what I'm doing. This is the layout for our final expansion. I'm going to have a big grid of housing up here. I think it's going to be mixed with offices as well, and all of this right here is mostly going to be offices as well because we've got such a demand for it at the moment. And then when we're done sort of expanding it, we'll give it its own resources like you know, energy and water as well, so it sort of seems like its own little independent city. Made a little mistake here right as I was about to record and show you what I've been doing, and it sort of doesn't look like a lot, but if we zoom in you can see there's parks, right? You can see that there's roads, there's these other little parks alongside them that because of the expansion have just got snow on top of them. It's really annoying, but they're going to provide parks and all of that for this area up here, which will actually be, you know, more residential, so let's at least get something happening up there while we chat about what I've been doing. So rearranging the roads here, just have another look. I can't be bothered to go over it in detail because I talk about it too much. Just trying out different things basically, and one of those I realised, if we have all of these roads down here going downwards, we remove a lot more traffic lights, and that's really made a big difference. So now all of this goes back onto there, and haven't seen too many cars going through there. So it's interesting how planning out roads work, because if you've not got a lot of traffic going through here, it shouldn't have priority to have traffic lights. And I think when you build a layout, if you can understand how it's going to play out further in advance, then you can do a lot better with it. So one of the other things I realised, as this is our main road, it should have lots of exits off onto these roads right here, because otherwise everything is going to go straight through it all the way down to here. So I added in this road, which I thought would be quicker because you avoid what were traffic lights here. Now they're actually gone. This is sort of pointless, so that will probably go away. Then I added another one over on this side, and I've realised that I sort of turned it onto this direction, which is not going to be used very much at all, is it? If you look at where the traffic comes down, it might want to go, let's say, from down here over to this area, and it might decide that going around there is a good way to do so. But I think what would be better for this... Aha! Look! A group of cars using it. Okay. I'm now wondering how much use this other idea I have will get out of it. What if this thing was to come up out of the ground, go over to the left here, and then loop around in this space, which I think would look really cool if you put trees around it, and then go back down this way, because this is where the bulk of traffic is probably going to go, back into these cities and areas. And wow, we've got traffic over here. Fascinating. I haven't looked at this area for a long time. Anyway, it still works. The city's fine, and we're making lots of money. So yeah, I'm going to mess around a little bit with the exiting traffic, but we'll also be expanding this area now, so I'm going to start zoning all of this out. I think a bulk of this area is going to be offices on either side, and probably these smaller sections here. In fact, let's do that right now. These ones will be offices going all the way up. Same on both sides. And then the outside can be residential like that. Yeah, that looks good. So I'm zoning out these areas, and I've noticed that a ton of traffic has shifted up here to use our little system that we got up here, and I've added a one-way road over here going down that exits off onto this area. Only a few cars using it at the moment. Don't know if you saw that there, by the way. This is popular. I've put one here switching off in this direction, which now means less traffic moves through this bit here. So maybe some of these roads and traffic lights that we changed before would be a little bit different. Look at that, they love that exit. As a result though, we're probably going to see a lot more traffic back up over here. Fascinating stuff how it works, isn't it? And again, like even now, we've done so much talk about traffic, you know, I still don't fully understand it. I hope by, you know, doing this that there'll be a point where I'll be like, aha, I know how to lay out a layout and I'll understand how the traffic works and I'll make it go where I want it to. Haven't reached that part yet, so it's still just a case of learning by doing things, and slowly, bit by bit, we'll figure it all out. Anyway, I'm going to make all of this into offices. Those bits on the corners I might just leave for now. And our demand is for commercial, which is not sort of what I planned to build at this point, so I ended up adding like an extra block in a couple of places. I guess we could do that up here as well. Maybe remove that and turn all of that into commercial. That's a good idea. This is sort of on the outskirts a little bit, so we'll turn all of that into maybe we'll go for low density since we're further out. So this expansion has caused insane traffic because of course now the volume coming into this area is going to be larger. But what's good to see is that people want to go up here. I think our biggest problem really is how the traffic gets slowed down in this area. We have too many sort of roads crossing over from one to the next, so what we need this one to do is probably spin around here and go into there, and then also branch off and meet up over here. So that's one thing that I'll do. Can't help but feel there's something wrong with the lanes of traffic here, although it does seem to slow down just at this bit, because some of it on the inside may be crossing over to the left at some point to go down there. So I guess that would mean having this turn off on the right would also be a good thing. So all our turn offs are on the right, and then there's an interesting idea for you, because if all your traffic's queuing up down one side of the road and all you ever do is have turn offs on the right hand side, then you'll never have that sort of crossing over issue because their turn will be the next one. That's an interesting idea. Maybe something to consider. Alright, so let's rework this a little bit and see if we can improve what's going on here. As for the rest of the city, by the way, it sort of looks okay from up above. Let's quickly use this. And wow, look at that one right there. That is taking a hit. There's quite a bit of traffic going on there. And of course it's got lights because it's merging two different roads together. Wow, that is a lot. So I've been watching another YouTuber who goes by the name of Fluxtrance, I do believe. That's just from memory. I haven't gone and looked up the video to get it right. And he does some lovely intersections, and I tried to like build a couple of them, sort of replicate them, and I found it really difficult to lay out the roads like he has. However, this right here definitely doesn't look good. But it's kind of fantastic to watch the traffic go through it. Ah, look at that. We've got some merging issues over on this side. Now I think that what should happen here is this should be on the opposite side of the road, and it should be merging into the right hand side. I don't know, that's starting to make a lot more sense to me now. And another thing here is that this road can be used to go back into the city, which could be dangerous because then that means the traffic wants to move directly across the road, and I think some of it was doing it right there. Either way though, we're not seeing those big backups, and just look at this, they've got so many options and routes to go on. So this one can come over here and it'll split up to go around like that, or up there, and then this one's got a little turning there, and it just looks great. I think it's cool. It's probably not one of the nicest of ones, but I just love it because I built it, and yeah, it does what we want it to do. So things are going great with this area over here, and I think I want to start sort of finalizing it, so to speak, and finishing up all the bits and bobs. But one of the things we do need to do, as I said earlier, is give this area its own services and stuff like that. We sort of got something temporary over here, so we need to build a proper facility for something like this. So services are coming in, and it's not working out too well. I love how this area looks. It's just a little bit different. There's lots of loopy roads and some power here as well, which looks really cool. I've put in a recycling centre as well. This thing is massive. Oh wow, we just reached Megalopis. That's awesome. We unlocked lots of stuff, including monuments. Cool, because some of these I might want to build. Well, we haven't unlocked any, but that reminds me that unique buildings have some cool stuff in as well, because I have been looking for things to build in this area that I thought would fit in. So, I mean, I doubt the transport tower will, right? That's going to look very out of place, but something smaller Might fit snugly into this area. Anyway, that wasn't what I was trying to get at here. I added this, and it didn't really seem to make too much difference. So then I added a smaller one over on this side here. And by the way, these little urban parking areas that I found on the workshop, man, that is annoying. It's like the camera jumps up above the windmill. They are just fantastic for this area because they just look like they're space for parking and industrial stuff that's going on. Even put a few of these around the corner from this bit, so it looks like it's all part of the construction of whatever that's going to be. And we've got a landfill over here. Now the problem is, it's made no difference whatsoever to the incineration status that we have over here. And I'm a little bit worried really, because my budget is full on this thing, and I've been losing money to it. So if I were to add an incinerator over here, I'm kind of wondering what the dealio would be. Would it help our situation at all? Is there even any space to put one in here? Because I've filled it all up with parks and stuff. Well, I'll throw one down and I'll see if it makes a difference. There is literally like nowhere to squeeze it in. This is a road maintenance bit over here, by the way, and I think it looks really cool, but what it all needs now is trees and stuff around it, and that's what I'm going to do, in between cuts. So we'll see how the incineration thing works out. And now for the rest of the city, I did have a quick look at some places here. Now that's a third level one right there. There were some up here that were only on the second or first level. And the reason why was because of... Alright, so this is slightly different. Well, education is one. If we go to commercial, it was services progress was just lagging a little bit behind. So we should probably have a breeze through all of these quickly. Very quickly as well. Actually, let's click down here. So, health appears to be good. Fire services, that's where we're struggling right there. So we probably need another fire station. Like we've got one here. What happens if we put one up here? We're going to sort of cover a fair portion of the city, or we take a big one, put it in the center. I don't think that's going to work. We got some traffic up there as well. That's new. Yeah, I'm just going to play around with this and put in some more service buildings and try and improve the entire area. Can you hear that noise? You probably can't because it's so quiet and faint, and it's even quieter on the video. But there is just those little dinging noises everywhere at the moment. So the high school's like a tiny bit bigger here. Let's drag that path. Have it go out by one and go around. Oh, apparently it doesn't like that. Well, yeah, just drag this around the back, basically. Bam, there you go. And there you go. Little land value increases, or not land value. I can never pick the right words out quick enough. You know what I'm on about. Little arrows are floating into the air and it's all good. Yeah, this is sweet. Alright, so what I put down so far has made a good difference. Well, we got a fire station and a police station just over here. And we've got a few more things to go through as well. Oh yeah, and of course the high school and the primary school. So the city is really starting to look the part from this bit over here because of the way we sort of merged this forest around into the city. And I think this is a little bit too clear, but again, I need to find some assets really for painting the ground. I talk about that a lot in my videos. I apologise for not then going and looking at them on Steam. I don't know why. For some reason, I just spend ages in this world looking at it and having fun. Anyway, I've sort of filled the forest into this area over here, made a few adjustments with like more offices, little bits like this I really like. There's a bit of space. Do you know what? I won't just cram in trees, I'll organise it, and that's something we should probably do more. And then down this road, all the way down it, I've put in loads of these sections. Now these ones down here are longer because there's hills, and then I've made them shorter for the hills. And they're supposed to be parking spots. They look a bit odd, but I love the way they brush right up against the motorway here. And for that reason, we got them pretty much going all the way down. And then over here, you can see each one is a lot smaller, which I think actually looks a little bit better compared to the other side. Sort of shows off the slope a little bit as well. So all of that's going great. And I'm really liking this, by the way. This over here is actually, I don't think terribly pretty, but it was just fun to do. And so our city has developed really, really well, but we're going to address some problems. High school availability, we're having problems with it in the area that the high school is, so that would probably suggest that people are commuting. So what I'm going to do is actually just move our high school over here, or at least put one there and move this one over there. And I'll fix that path behind it as well. Also, apparently a tiny little building appeared on the corner there. So now we've got two high schools where we had one. And it looks like we've got some piping issue over here as well. What's going on there? Are we... Oh, we're that low on heating. Okay, that's interesting because I had space over here. I don't think I've got space for this though. Maybe I could find a way to... probably not actually. Because the other park is full, by the way. The other... I call it a park. This one, look, all of them are turned on. So we're going to need like another facility like this in there. I might look at moving something around and being able to squeeze it in there, because that would look good in that space. And yeah, anyway, that brings us to, after the high school availability, to the university. So our university is full. Now, the view that I had open a moment ago made it a lot easier to understand. I don't know actually what view I did have. Either way, we probably want a second university, but we've also got these buildings, which are assets that I downloaded, and they are quite interesting because they cost 16 a week as opposed to that enormous amount of money, and they actually educate students as far as I can tell. Because if you have a look here, the education, 50 out of 50. So we could build more of these dorms. And then I also noticed this teleportation disc. I don't think... Oh, it does do something. Look at that. It says 50 a week, or student capacity 50. I was thinking a row of these down the side here could look really interesting. Then I was thinking maybe a row of dorms. Now, I think if we like tack this on down here, it's going to look a little bit sort of tacked onto the city. I reckon what we should do is like make a road that goes off and put it on a hill or something like that, a little radar dish array. So what we'll probably do is just go for these. But also, it makes sense to have them closer to the university. So these offices are going to get kicked out. We're going to have 2 more dorms right there. And then we're going to have like a whole bunch down the side here. I'll leave room for a little park in between each one. Like that, and then that's that area sort of finalised a little bit as well. Now let's look at the tree situation. I think what we should do is extend this forest a little bit round the back here. I think trees coming into your city area really helps tie it off. But that actually looks great having those down the side, doesn't it? So let's go into our parks again. Which one is it? That one right there. I'm struggling to keep on all the taps. Also, tabs, not taps. Said the wrong word. You can use the mouse wheel to scroll through here. I think I've played this game without realising that for way too long. Let's go with a different colour. Not that we'd see it because it's the snow. It's just going to cover it up. Bam, one at the end like that. And that looks really cool. And how much have we increased it by then? 100, 200, 350 in total. So not really making too much of a difference on this, are we? But it is something. And maybe I can find... or maybe what we could do is actually have a few roads come off the side here and have a little bit of a dorm district or something along those lines. That sounds pretty cool, actually. Why don't we try something like that? Okay, this is just what I'm looking for right here. It looks great. We were hemorrhaging money a minute ago, worse than when it sort of booms. So it's just doing this thing where it goes back and forth again, I guess. By the way, I raised the taxes for offices in here, and no revolt or people moving out or complaining, which is fantastic. On either side, though, there's always just like a couple of buildings that have this issue, which is probably to do with traffic. So one of the things we want to do is public transport in this area, get a bus system going, and a bus depot over here. But there you go, dorms have been expanded. I really like this block and how it looks. I think it goes a little bit too close to the river here. But if you just sort of look at that bit and you can see the natural shape of the river, I kind of really like that you can see where it's been sort of cut into the side a little bit. And man, all of this has turned out really, really great, and I especially like this. And that's actually going to be it for this episode. I have enjoyed myself. I hope you have too. We're not done with this area. There'll be more things being done to it in the future, and of course there's some of our other areas as well. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like. As always, thank you so much for the support on the videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.